They say experience is the best teacher, and that's true. But what they don't tell you is what that lesson will cost you. You don't buy experience with money. You don't pick it up at the store. You pay for it with your mistakes, your heartbreaks, your long nights, your silent tears, and most of all, you pay for it with your youth. That time you can't get back. That season when you thought you had it all figured out. That's the currency. But let me tell you something, even though the cost is high, the reward is priceless. Because nothing builds you like experience. It toughens you, it teaches you, and it transforms you into someone this world can't break. Experience is earned through trials, not talk. You can listen to every motivational speech, read every success book, and follow every guru online, but until life knocks you down and you choose to get back up, you haven't really earned it. Real experience comes from living through the fire. When things don't go as planned, when people betray you, when your own decisions backfire and you have to sit in the consequences. That's when growth happens. That's when your skin thickens and your mind sharpens. Not when everything is smooth, but when it's messy, confusing, and painful. That's where the real wisdom is built, in the doing, not the dreaming. Talking a good game is easy. Anybody can speak big about how strong they are, how much they know, what they've been through. But the truth reveals itself in the quiet moments. The ones when you have to figure out how to survive without a clear answer, without a cheerleader, without a plan B. That's where experience is earned, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not on the stage, but in the storm. Because experience isn't something you perform, it's something you carry. It shows in how you respond to pressure, in how you treat people when you're tired, in how you keep moving forward, even when no one claps for you. When you go through real trials, you start to learn things you can't unlearn. You begin to understand what patience really means, not the kind that waits 5 minutes, but the kind that waits 5 years. You learn that trust is built slowly and broken quickly. You learn that hard work doesn't always pay off immediately, but it plants seeds that grow later. You begin to see people more clearly, not for who they pretend to be, but for who they really are when the masks come off. That level of clarity only comes from having lived through enough storms to recognize the clouds before they form. See, experience humbles you. It teaches you that you don't have all the answers, and that's okay. It makes you more gracious with others because you've been on the other side of mistakes. You've been the one who messed up, who had to apologize, who had to rebuild. That kind of wisdom doesn't come from watching someone else fall. It comes from being the one who fell and choosing to get back up without losing your heart in the process. And here's what makes it all worth it. Once you earn that experience, nobody can take it from you. Not a boss, not a hater, not even failure itself. You become grounded in something real, something tested. You don't panic as quickly because you've already survived worse. You don't chase validation because you've learned your value. You don't fold under pressure because pressure is where you were formed. That kind of inner strength isn't taught, it's earned. So don't be discouraged if your journey feels hard, especially in your youth. That's the payment. That's the price. You're not behind. You're being built. Every wrong turn, every tough lesson, every heartbreak, it's all part of your experience portfolio. It's creating depth, resilience, and wisdom that'll carry you further than talent or luck ever could. While others are talking, you're living. While others are watching, you're becoming. So hold your head high through every trial, because every scar you earn today is the badge of experience you'll wear tomorrow. And that kind of wisdom, that kind of strength, It's priceless. Youth is the training ground for wisdom. It's the season where you're supposed to mess up, fall down, and not have it all figured out. That's not failure, that's foundation. See, when you're young, life throws you into situations that feel too big for your experience and too fast for your understanding. But that's the point. Those moments where you feel lost, confused, or out of place are not mistakes. They're assignments. They're opportunities designed to shape your thinking, stretch your spirit, and show you what you're really made of. Wisdom isn't born from perfection. It's born from experience, and experience is what your youth is meant to provide. You don't develop strength from avoiding difficulty. You develop strength by surviving it. When you're young, you're going to take risks that don't always work out. You're going to trust people who don't deserve it. You're going to try things and fail miserably. But every one of those moments adds a layer to who you are. You learn not to give your heart away so easily. You learn that discipline matters more than height. You learn that not every friend is a forever one, and that learning doesn't come through someone telling you. It comes through living it. When you're young, your emotions are loud and your patience is low. You want results fast. You want clarity now. You want to be grown without growing. But life don't work like that. Life teaches through repetition. It teaches through pain. It teaches through consequences. That moment when you thought you had it all figured out and everything fell apart, that was a lesson. That season when nobody believed in you and you had to believe in yourself, that was training. That quiet voice that told you to keep going even when everything said stop, that was your future calling. Wisdom doesn't arrive all at once. It's built in stages. Youth is the raw material. It's where you start asking questions, even the ones that don't have answers yet. It's where you realize you're not invincible, but you're capable. It's where you learn that falling short isn't the end. It's part of learning how to reach higher. The faster you try to skip that process, the more likely you are to come back around to it later. Because wisdom only grows in soil that's been turned over. And youth, that's the tilling season. It's messy, it's emotional, but it's necessary. Some people waste their youth chasing validation. Others use it to build vision. Some stay stuck in regrets. Others rise through reflection. What separates them isn't talent, it's mindset. If you treat every loss as a lesson, every failure as fuel, and every moment as meaningful, your youth becomes the greatest investment in your future wisdom. You won't just grow older, you'll grow wiser. You'll stop reacting and start responding. You'll stop blaming and start building. You'll stop chasing and start leading. You've got to understand youth is a gift, but it's also a test. The world will try to sell you shortcuts. It will tempt you with quick wins and shiny distractions. But the real ones, the ones who rise and stay resin, they use their youth to fail forward, to ask better questions, and to listen more than they speak. They understand that wisdom isn't loud, it's quiet. It doesn't rush, it reflects. And you can only develop that by going through enough to understand the why behind every what. So don't resent your youth, and don't rush it either. This is the season where you're building the roots. The deeper the roots, the higher the rise. And trust me, when the time comes to lead, to shine, to speak with authority, you'll have something real to say. Because you didn't just get older, you got wiser. And that wisdom started right here, right now, in the soil of your youth. The painful lessons you go through in life are the ones that shape you the most. You don't gain real power from comfort. You gain it from what you survive. Every time life knocks you down and you choose to get back up, you're not just recovering, you're rising. Pain is a strange teacher. It doesn't ask for your permission. It shows up uninvited, breaks your plans, shakes your confidence, and exposes everything you thought you had figured out. But if you lean in instead of running away, that same pain starts transforming into something powerful. You start building resilience. You start thinking deeper. You stop moving based on emotion and start moving based on purpose. And once you've been through something painful and made it out the other side, you carry a kind of strength that can't be faked. Pain is the birthplace of power. Look back at your hardest seasons, the heartbreaks, the failures, the rejections. At the time, they felt like the end of the world. You didn't know how you were going to make it, and maybe nobody else did either. But you did make it. And what came out of that storm was not just survival. It was transformation. You became someone wiser, someone stronger, someone more aware. That pain taught you lessons success never could. You learned who was real and who was temporary. You learned that your peace is more important than pleasing people. You learned that no matter how low it gets, there's still fight left in you. You see, power isn't always loud. It's not always about shouting or standing at the front. Sometimes power looks like walking away from what no longer serves you. Sometimes it looks like choosing to stay quiet when anger wants to speak. Sometimes it looks like showing up for yourself when nobody else does. That kind of strength doesn't just appear. It's earned through seasons of pain. When you've cried alone, when you've doubted yourself, when you've had to keep going with no applause. That's when your inner power is being formed. And once you tap into that, no one can take it from you because it wasn't handed to you. You built it. Too many people want the crown without the cross. They want the reward without the refinement. But it doesn't work like that. If you avoid pain, you avoid growth. If you numb every hard thing, you miss every valuable thing. You've got to go through some things to become something. The process isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to develop you. Diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. Trees grow deep roots because of harsh winds. And you're no different. The pain you face today is building the power you'll need tomorrow. And here's what's beautiful. The very thing that once broke you becomes the thing you use to build others. Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Your scars become signs of strength. You don't have to hide your pain. You can use it. You can speak from a place of truth that only comes from lived experience. And people can feel that. They don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. When they see you walking in strength after all you've been through, it gives them permission to believe they can too. So the next time pain knocks on your door, don't curse it, study it. Feel it, but don't get stuck in it. Let it teach you. Let it stretch you, and most importantly, let it remind you that everything you're going through is equipping you with power. Not just to survive, but to rise, to lead, to impact. Because pain may be the price, but the power, that's forever. Time spent failing is time spent building. Most people think failure is wasted time, but in truth, failure is one of the most valuable investments you can make in your future. Every mistake, every setback, every moment where things didn't go as planned, that's not time lost. That's time spent laying bricks. You're building your foundation even when you don't realize it. Failure teaches you more than success ever will. When things go wrong, you're forced to examine yourself. You're pushed to ask better questions, to dig deeper, to change your approach. That process of falling and rising is how you build strength that lasts. Failure shows you what you're made of. When everything's going great, it's easy to be confident. It's easy to smile, to to show up strong, to feel like you're in control. But when the bottom falls out, that's when your real character gets revealed. And if you lean into that moment instead of running from it, something inside of you starts to shift. You stop being afraid of losing because you realize you've already failed and survived. That fear loses its grip on you. And once you're no longer afraid to fail, you become dangerous in the best way. Because now you're free to try boldly, to risk wisely, to step into arenas others avoid. You're not gambling blindly. You're building strategically, using lessons only failure could teach you. There's a confidence that comes from surviving your own mistakes. You learn how to adapt, how to pivot, how to keep moving even when the plan falls apart. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Failure teaches you timing. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to listen, how to slow down, how to regroup. Those quiet moments when you're picking up the pieces, that's the construction zone. You're building muscles, mental, emotional, even spiritual. That'll hold you up later when the stakes are even higher. When the spotlight comes, when the opportunity shows up, you'll be ready because you've already put in the work behind the scenes. See, some people avoid failure at all costs. They don't take chances, they play it safe. They stay inside their comfort zones. And what they don't realize is that playing it safe is actually risking the most, because they're not building anything. They're not learning. They're not evolving. But the ones who fail and keep moving, they grow, they stretch, they become unstoppable. Not because they never fall, but because they never quit. They understand that every wrong turn is still a step forward when your eyes are open. Time spent failing also humbles you. It teaches you to listen, to ask for help, to appreciate growth over applause. When you've had to start from the bottom more than once, you don't take progress for granted. You don't overlook the grind. You become more grateful, more grounded, more focused. And that attitude, that's what sets winners apart from wishers. Winners don't fear failure. They respect it because they know it's not an obstacle, it's a teacher. So don't beat yourself up for the time you've spent falling short. That time was not wasted. It was invested. It was shaping you, guiding you, developing you. The lessons you've learned in failure are the tools you'll use to build your future. Every missed shot, every closed door, every no you heard, it was all preparing you for the yes that's coming. You're not behind, you're just building. And when the foundation is strong, the elevation will be real. You're not failing, you're forging. Keep building. Every setback in youth is a setup for strength. When you're young, it feels like every failure is final. You lose a job, a relationship falls apart, you miss a big opportunity, and you think that's it, you're done. But what you don't see in the moment is that each of those setbacks is planting something deep inside you. It's laying the groundwork for strength that can't be taught in classrooms or copied from somebody else's path. Those moments where you feel like life has slammed the door in your face are often the moments that end up making you who you were always meant to be. They force you to grow in ways comfort never could. You see, in youth, you're not just figuring out what works, you're figuring out what doesn't. And that's powerful, because when you learn what not to do, who not to trust, what not to chase, you're clearing space for what actually belongs in your life. Every time you stumble, you're learning balance. Every time you fall short, you're gaining awareness. You don't realize it while you're in the mess, but those failures are training you. They're teaching you to endure, to persevere, to adapt. That's how strength is built, not in ease, but in resistance. Setbacks also teach you self-awareness. When something goes wrong, you're forced to look inward. You start asking the tough questions. What could I have done differently? Why did this affect me so deeply? What do I need to change about my mindset? That level of self-reflection doesn't usually happen when everything's going smoothly. But in moments of disappointment, you start digging deeper. And that digging reveals character. It reveals purpose. It reveals strength you didn't even know you had. Some of the most successful people in the world had devastating failures early on. They were told they weren't good enough, smart enough, talented enough. They got rejected, overlooked, and underestimated. But instead of folding, they used those moments as fuel. They took every no and turned it into a reason to push harder. That's not luck, that's resilience. And resilience is born in the setbacks. It's a decision you make to rise even when the world expects you to stay down. What makes a setback a setup for strength is your response to it. Some people go through challenges and come out bitter. Others go through the same thing and come out better. The difference is perspective. When you start seeing your setbacks as setups, when you believe that every hardship has something to teach you, you stop feeling like a victim and start moving like a warrior. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? That shift in mindset is where true power begins. There's also something spiritual about setbacks. They humble you. They remind you that you don't have all the answers. They push you to surrender your ego and open your heart. And in that surrender, you find strength you never thought you'd need, and now can't live without. Setbacks force you to rely on something deeper than talent or confidence. They make you reach inside and find grit, find faith, find that fire that says, I'm not done yet. The truth is, youth is supposed to be messy. It's supposed to be filled with detours, delays, and disappointments. That's not failure, that's formation. Every misstep is molding you. Every fall is forging you. You are becoming. And the strength you gain from each setback will carry you through the rest of your life. It will make you wiser in your decisions, bolder in your actions, and gentler with others, because you know what it's like to struggle. So if you're in a setback right now, don't count yourself out. Count yourself in, because this is the moment where the shift starts. This is where your strength is being built. And one day, you'll look back and realize that what felt like the end was really just the beginning of something greater than you imagined. Real maturity only comes through lived experience. You can read every book in the world, listen to every speech, sit through every seminar, but nothing can teach you about life like actually living it. Maturity isn't about age, it's about exposure. It's about going through things, not around them. It's about waking up with regret, wrestling with choices, learning the difference between what feels good and what's good for you. And that kind of growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens through seasons. It happens through storms. It happens when life demands something from you that you don't think you have, and you find it anyway. People think maturity is about acting serious, being responsible, making all the right decisions. But true maturity is deeper than that. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It's being able to forgive without needing an apology. It's choosing peace over being right. It's walking away from drama not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to know it's not worth your energy. And you don't gain that level of understanding just because you hit a certain age. You gain it because life has taught you. You've been burned. You've trusted the wrong people. You've made mistakes. And instead of pretending they didn't happen, you learn from them. Experience is a brutal teacher, but it's the one that sticks. When you go through heartbreak, when you lose people you thought would stay forever, when your plans fall apart in front of your face, that's when you start developing something called depth. You stop living on the surface. You stop judging people based on appearances or assuming you know their story. Because you've now got a story too. You understand that people are layered, that pain doesn't always show, and that everyone's carrying something. That's real maturity. Not being quick to judge, but being quick to empathize. You become softer in spirit, but stronger in character. Lived experience also teaches you how to handle pressure. When you've gone through something real, you stop panicking over the small stuff. The little inconveniences, the petty disagreements, they don't shake you like they used to. Because you've seen worse. You've survived worse. That experience gives you perspective. It teaches you how to breathe through chaos, how to lead through storms, how to keep moving when others freeze up. And that kind of maturity can't be faked. You can't skip steps. You can't microwave growth. You've got to live it, bleed through it, and rise from it. Another thing lived experience teaches you is self-control. When you're young and inexperienced, your emotions lead the way. You say what you feel without thinking. You act on impulse. You chase instant gratification. But over time, through enough hard lessons, you learn that not everything deserves your reaction. Not everything needs a response. You start choosing your battles. You stop giving away your peace so easily. That doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've learned how to manage what you feel. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom. You also start becoming more intentional with your time and your relationships. Lived experience teaches you how valuable energy is. You don't pour into everyone like you used to. You don't chase approval. You don't beg for love. You understand now that not everyone deserves access to you, and that protecting your peace is part of honoring your growth. That's maturity. Not needing to explain yourself, just living in alignment with your values. So if you've been through some things, if life has left some scars on you, don't hide that. That's your strength. That's your education. That's your edge. You've earned your maturity. And the beauty of it is, it never stops growing. Every season, every challenge, every lesson adds another layer to who you are. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're not broken. And that maturity, that wisdom, that depth, that's what will carry you farther than anything else ever could. Experience is one of life's most powerful gifts, but it doesn't come free. It costs you time, energy, and often your youth. Yet every moment you've struggled, every mistake you've made, every lesson you've had to learn the hard way has shaped you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's ahead. Don't resent the process, respect it. Because while youth fades, the wisdom gained from your experiences will stay with you forever. That's the real reward. You're not just aging, you're evolving. You're not just surviving, you're growing. And one day, all the pain, all the pressure, all the hard-earned lessons will prove that experience truly is priceless.